Almost every franchise has that one niche character that fans absolutely adore and would love to see in the spotlight again. That could not be more true for a series like Sonic the Hedgehog, which has a huge cast of characters and spans media from TV to comics to movies and, of course, video games. Which, having all of these different platforms, makes it more likely for a ton of different characters to show up, as well as new characters to be made. But in the last decade, a lot of characters that felt like main characters or more prominent side characters have just been sidelined. You don't see Espio, Charmy, or Blaze nearly as often as you used to, which makes fans of even lesser known characters feel like those characters are just bound to be overshadowed. If we're not going to see a character like Knuckles or Amy get a prominent storyline in something like Sonic Lost World, there's no way we're going to see a character from the Freedom Fighters or the Babylon Rogues. Even something like Chaos or Tikal just feels like it's out of the question. But every once in a while, Sonic Team will bring up a character and say, you know what? We hear you like this character, and we are once again going to put them in the spotlight. This has been happening in the last few years, and I've been loving it. I gotta say though, my favorite one is the most recent one. If y'all have seen the reveal for Sonic X Shadow Generations with like Shadow's cutscene, it feels good. I am finally getting a character that I absolutely love back. Whether it's playable or just in a story, I don't know. But it's said to be that there's going to be another character that's playable, and if it is this character, I am going to absolutely lose my mind in the best possible way, because it will be a dream come true for me. So who is this character exactly? That would be dun-dun-dun, Emerl! Yep, this cute little robot guy is somebody that I have been wanting to see in Sonic media again for so freaking long. But believe it or not, despite the fact that he's barely showed up in anything, he has a really deep-rooted history with characters like Shadow the Hedgehog and just a very in-depth story altogether. So Emerl is a very different case when it comes to a playable Sonic character. Normally in these games, you get a character like Shadow or Blaze that starts off as an antagonist for Sonic and eventually learns that there's a bigger threat and Sonic is actually just trying to save the world. Is kind of a cool guy. So then they help him and they become all buddy-buddy. But in Sonic Battle, you start the game by Sonic finding a robot that they eventually name Emerl. He has absolutely no memory, but they find out that he's a fighting robot. So they do some training to see what he can do and find out that he has the ability to copy other people's moves. If Sonic does a spin dash and he sees it, boom, he records it, he's now able to do a spin dash. Somebody does a axle kick or Tails flies, he can copy that too. And the cool thing is, Emerl is the playable character, so you can base your entire moveset off of things that you learned from other characters. Sonic Battle's roster is pretty huge, from your standard characters like Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, to characters like Rouge, Gamma, and Chaos. It gives a huge variety when you can take all of these different moves for Emerl and mash them together, giving him different speeds, different powers, and different specials. Not only that, but there's a rare chance that you can actually get a character's color scheme and be like, hey look, Emerl is blue! Boom! Emerl is the colors of Shadow! And the cool thing is, you don't know what you're going to unlock. Doing a battle will just get you some sort of move that happened in the battle that you can help build off of, which just makes it a very interesting type of gameplay. And the game is sliced up like Sonic Adventure, where every single character has their own story. And that's where you get the majority of what you'd learn from a specific character, where you can play as both Emerl and that character depending on what the story needs you to do. It's just an overall really cool concept. I do want to say, spoilers. At the very end of the game, Emerl becomes the final boss, and you have to fight your own custom moveset with Sonic, which is just mind-blowing. But unfortunately, that does mean that you have to destroy Emerl because he's become corrupt, and it's sad and it's depressing. Another good Sonic story about a robot that freaking dies at the end. That's right, we have 2 nickels, fellas. We have 2 nickels. But that's just the gameplay side of it. The story side goes even deeper, because Emerl was created by Gerald Robotnik, the same creator of Shadow the Hedgehog, when he was trying to create the ultimate life form to help the planet and to also help Maria because she had AIDS and he wanted to cure that. Unfortunately, though, we all know what happened to Maria. And, you know, her being in Sonic X Shadow Generations, we're probably going to cry a little bit. However, at the time, we didn't know really how he got to the beach, other than eventually finding out that Eggman found out about him, thought he was broken, and just decided to throw him away. Because, well, he didn't really serve Eggman any purpose. And eventually he learns Emerl is actually a very powerful robot, and then he does the corruption stuff. But this makes this very interesting because later on, Eggman uses Emerl as a model to create a robot called Gemerl, which is this weird, like, black robot that's a boss inside of Sonic Advanced and eventually becomes, like, Cream's best friend. So with that all being said, we are finally gonna find out, how did Emerl get so damaged? What happened to him? And how was his relationship with Shadow? Because I don't remember, it's been a long time since I played Sonic Battle. I don't remember if Shadow even remembers who Emerl is. So it's going to be even more interesting to see how they play this idea out. And if he does become playable, what type of gameplay we would get for Emerl. Either way, though, it is time to open up Baby Boy! It's time to open up Baby Boy! Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie, I have had this plush in my unboxing bin for like 2 to 3 years. I've had this guy in my unboxing box, in my unboxing hamper, and I haven't wanted to open him because I wanted to make sure that I had the perfect unboxing video and that I couldn't screw it up. And, you know, in a way, I'm kind of happy about that, but I'm trying to realize, again, it's not going to be perfect. But I'm almost glad that I waited because now Sega made him relevant again. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. And also, shoutouts to GE for making this plush. Like, first off, look at how good he looks. He looks so freaking good. It's also kind of surprising because Emerl has this weird, very flimsy piece on top of his head, and they did a very good job at making that work. It's another one of those pieces where it's just completely foam on both sides with no stuffing on it, so that it is very bendable and very flat, so you can actually position it in a way that it would look really nice. I was a little concerned because it was like this in the bag, and I was like, oh, does he have like a weird, very flat mohawk? And it's gonna look super awkward. But no, you can prop it up, and it'll be nice and beautiful. Unfortunately, though, they do have this part. So this part on the design, I believe, is supposed to be 3D. It is flat on this, but I mean, you kind of have to make a lot of compromises when it comes to a design that is this unique and has this much details in it. So it being flat, that's fine. It probably also makes it a little bit less awkward when it comes to this piece of it. Going on, we have the eyes, which is a soft fabric. Listen, I like going through the different types of fabrics and all of the different design elements of the plush for one specific reason. And that's because you guys can't see at home what is going on, which to me, I would just instantly assume, oh, design-wise, they're probably going to do that very, like, shimmery type of paint. It's going to be a plasticky piece, something that, in general, is going to be hard to where you move it, light reflects off. But surprisingly, they went with a more, like, soft crushed velvet type of fabric, and that is just a very interesting choice to go off of. I don't mind it, but I guess they wanted to contrast the different fabric for this part, which, to be honest, isn't that hard of a felt either. It is very comparable to a lot of the other plush that GE has done. What's even more interesting is that the cream part of this is also a slightly soft fabric. So you know what? Maybe they wanted to take the inside heart of Emerl and put it on the outer shell and just spread what we all know about Emerl, that he is a loving, beautiful being that looks like Wild Robot took from the design of a little bit. I don't mind though. I think that's going to be a cute movie. Going on from there, we have the last part of his head, which is this little sound, like this little earpiece. It's kind of like an ear bolt. I don't really know what the function of this is necessarily supposed to be, except for maybe the like keeping his head together and keeping this part on, because I'm sure there's certain design factors that they wanted to go for that I just don't necessarily remember. But overall, he does have very similar design aspects to a character like Gamma, where it comes to the shoulder joints and the arm joints, but having these longer arm pieces, and the fact that he doesn't have any guns, he just has hands, which goes to the more aspect of him being more of a healing type of robot and a learning robot, rather than what he does become, which is more of a fighting robot. And felt-wise, this, like, brown grayish part is actually a rougher type of fabric as well. So if you look closer, all of those pieces are kind of like the glove felt that has been on the other glove characters like Sonic, which feels really good, and it gives a nice metal type of feeling without having it be that cold type of feeling. And this does also make it where he is a very flexible plush, but a lot of these plush are meant for collecting, so they're not very flexible. They're very stiff, they're meant to just be in one pose, and their arms are more noodly. But the way they did this, it feels more so like he has joints, except instead of the joint being at the elbow, it's more at the shoulder where it bends. And that does make it feel, oddly enough, moving it feels more natural when I move his arm. And that might go for the legs. It doesn't really seem to, but the legs are a little bit thicker. And of course, you do have the torso, which has these nice 3 dots, and I'm trying to remember what this reminds me of. But I'm thinking of some cords being like plugged in there and like making it charge or making it evil. There's some pop culture reference that's in there, but I'm not exactly thinking of what it is. On the back, though, he has a tiny little jet booster. Baby can fly. Baby boy can fly. Ooh. Oh, I absolutely love this. It's not too pronounced, so it's not going to be caught on a lot if you want to put it at a shelf or the back of something. But it does have a bit of a flat feeling to it, where if you're not necessarily looking for it, it's not going to instantly catch your eye, except for maybe the fact that there's this little orange piece at the bottom. And I feel like that's okay. It does also seem a little bit lopsided on the plush, which overall, the stance of the plush and just the general posture, it does have some lopsided parts of it, such as this left leg, which for some reason just refuses to go down and is just stuck upwards. Hopefully that's not from years of just being in the bag, but it is possible. Outside of that, though, we've got the hips, which are jutting out very far, and that does surprise me just on the fact that the left shoe is so wobbly because of how jolted it is. But they had to do this so that his little boots could be nice and big, good for stomping, good for kicking, and just very powerful. So that when he jets up and goes to land, boom! It's a nice thwomp thud. Just One part of the boots that does concern me though is this part up here, because it is just one piece of felt that is super flimsy and could easily be damaged if you're not careful with it. Thankfully though, it's not on an area that you would be moving, so I'm not too concerned about it, except for if I am like going from one state to another state or this house to an apartment, having to pack that up. I am going to want to be very careful about that piece, just because if it bends the wrong way, it could really damage, and over the years, wear and tear could potentially make it a little bit rough. But this is a collector's plush. This isn't necessarily meant to be played with, and in my case, I am using it as a collector's plush, so it should be fine. Outside of that, though, the details are a little bit more subtle, where you have the orange parts of the connector piece, as well as the orange parts of the shoe, and on that, they do actually have some cardboard in there, instead of just leaving it flat. I'm guessing since they want it to be a standing plush, and they don't want you to bend it in a way where he's sitting, which as you can see up there, some of the plush are way too tall, and for Chaos or for Eggman, I definitely had to do that. So I'm really hoping that he will fit up there and it won't be a huge problem. Outside of that though is mostly just small details, such as this one little vent on his boots, which is that rougher fabric, though it does feel a lot harder than the rest of the fabric, almost like it's more embroidered. And the only part where there's this little shiny sticker part is this toe, like the toes on the boots, which again makes me, oh yeah, there's also the 3 dots or that sticker. But those two elements make me wonder, why didn't they just do that for the eyes? Because it would have probably worked a lot better, even though it realistically probably would have worn out a lot more, unless they just figured, oh, this is the best way to do it to make it pop and be 3D, but not wear out. Because usually for those eyes, they're on 2D, and it's more of like a print rather than a 3D part. So it could be possibly from that as well. But yeah, that is Good Boy Emerl. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, because you want to make this guy happy, right? Who does not want to make this guy happy? He's so cute, and he's so wholesome. And if you have not played Sonic Battle, do yourself a favor and play Sonic Battle, because like, he's adorable, and he's one of the best Sonic characters ever. I love him. I love this guy. He's just so cute. I really want to play Sonic Battle again, but also I hope he's playable in Sonic X Shadow Generations. It's gonna be so good. Thank you Sonic Team, for bringing him back. And just overall, if you do like this content, make sure to let me know, because I chronically stay away from unboxings, not because I want to, just because I'm nervous about messing them up. But if you do want to see more unboxings, make sure to let me know, and also make sure to subscribe. Because if I see you say like, oh my god, I love that you made this video, I'm subscribing because you made another GE unboxing video and I want to see more of it, then I'm definitely going to be more likely to actually be like, you know what, let's sit down, record that unboxing, and then upload it. You know, standard YouTube stuff. You know, it's more so that you guys can see the content later, and also it helps my dopamine levels go up. Oh my god. Anyway though, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys when Sonic X Shadow Generations comes out. Thanks for watching, and keep your toes safe. Woo! I wish I could do the sound effect in Sonic Battle, like in between stories. It's some kind of like beeping, but I don't know the actual beeping sound that I could do. And it would probably just sound really, really bad. Kind of just like... Yeah, no, that was terrible. If I can find the sound effect, maybe I'll play it in this video. Or you'll just have to wait until I do a Sonic Battle playthrough, which I really wanted to. Anyway, though, thank you guys. I hope to see you next time. Bye!